Live stream. Sorry about the delay. We're shoving sushi in our faces and making lunch for our kids and packing orders and all that stuff. So, but we're here. We're here now. So today I'm going to be using the infantry reptile skin stencil pattern on a couple different areas on this Abaddon figure to make it look like he's got some cool spectral glowing cracked like magma type armor. You know, I just want to make it look like he's so evil that he's just emitting like unnatural heat. So I'm going to be doing it mainly around the leg armor here. I'm going to be doing something slightly different but using the same stencil on the sword, and then I'm going to be doing it also on his cape, on the ends of his cape. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the cape because that wasn't the way the classic figure was, but I think in this instance it'll look pretty cool. So that's where I'm at now. When you're doing any kind of effect like this, the first thing you have to do is really get a good base color down. You want to go from light to dark. So that's why, you know, I primed the figure black overall, but then I sprayed the bottom of his legs white, bottom of the cape white. That's just the base. Now we're able to move. Now we're able to move up from that. So the next layer is going to be yellow on both of these. This sword, I'm going to do more in like shades of blue. So I'm not going to get to that just yet. I'm going to do the yellow hot areas first. Alright, so let's get into it. Got some Vallejo deep yellow. It's an incredibly powerful yellow color. I'm going to cue up my airbrush and get it going here. As always, Jules is here.
Hey guys, what's up?
Just answering questions, so if you got any questions, feel free to comment. And we are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube right now. We have a dreary day over here. Kind of muggy and overcast.
It's starting to feel like fall.
Yes. It's a really nice yellow for the legs there. More of the same on the cape. Does that make you happy?
Yes.
Jules is eating sushi over here. She finally got a moment to get to lunch today.
You know I love massive amounts of wasabi.
Yes. Blow that wasabi out. What a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, there's only two of us here on a daily basis, and Simon works for us as well, remotely, and we're handling everything. So Monday through Friday is pretty much just a 24/7 shitstorm every week. We have been doing a lot of things to optimize stuff. Jules has really been optimizing a lot of the customer service options. We've been releasing new items. We have a chat bot now, which is awesome.
Yes, Misfortune. You guys
Misfortune.
voted on it, so
She's getting a little smarter every day. So a lot of those questions that we field repetitively, she'll be able to handle.
Wintermute is actually, I think, going to be the chat bot for Chapter Customizer once I set that up.
Yep, chapter customizer's coming up in line too, with some more updates, modifications. If you haven't seen chapter customizer in a while, we released some new doors and decal sets a week ago.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Was it a week ago? Yeah.
It was right before the Labor. It was the week before Labor Day.
All right, so that's like 2 weeks ago then at this point. Oh, sorry, I shook the camera. I got hooked on the camera cord. I'm just cleaning out the airbrush while the yellow dries. You got to keep your airbrush clean, especially with Vallejo paints. They tend to dry really fast. So while this yellow is drying, we can think about the next color. So I'm going to be using this Magma, not Magma, it's the reptile skin stencil, but it's the one that I make small enough for this application. You can use it for reptile skin, which we've done in other videos, but in this instance, I'm going to be using it to simulate, cracked, hot metal. Still got to wait a little bit for this to dry. Basically, the next color that I'm going to be doing is, let me think about this for a second. It's basically yellow, red, black. That's kind of what you're doing, but there's an order to things. I think I'm going to break out a little bit of the orangey red that I have here. I'll use orange. And kind of do a little bit of a yellow to an orange gradient before I lay down the stencil. Consistency on this color is not too good. Why is this not moving? Oh, hold on. Something's backing up into my airbrush here. Like I said, these Vallejo paints are thick. They very easily clog up. I tend to thin them down even more, even though they're already supposed to be thin enough for painting. They do have good opacity though. Okay, hold on a second. This is really stressful. Why is this color paint so problematic? Does anyone have any comments so far? It's another slow Thursday. Wait, what was that one Morrissey song?
I don't know, you sing it like that and they all kind of sound the same.
It was like, every day is like Thursday.
I do it with my coffee.
Counter. There's something backing up in my airbrush right now. Technical difficulty here.
You sure it's not Monday?
Shit. Let's try this again. Hold on. I'm doing a full clean out of this. Let's try this again. Maybe that paint just had a chunk in it that got jammed up in the airbrush or something. Okay. Let's try this again. I'm not going to use that orange color again because I feel like maybe it's old and chunky or something.
You didn't just put paint in the soy sauce, did you? No. Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
That's soy sauce, babe. Put the soy sauce away from the paint cup, please.
Well, probably wouldn't hurt anything. Like back in the day, like my grandmother wasn't overly concerned with like lead paint, so it probably wouldn't hurt me even if there
It's
was a little
acrylic
paint.
anyway, it's fine.
Oh.
Like all those times I put my paintbrush in my coffee cup by accident. Alright, so now we got the first gradient down. I was thinking about buying a Mortarian figure. Like the big plague demon guy.
It would be very apropos right now.
Yeah. But I was thinking about buying him and using like a couple different stencils on the wings. He's got these big
You know how I feel about it. Tax write-offs.
tax write-off. See, this is dangerous. My last wife used to yell at me for buying models all the time. And Jules is like, yeah, buy as much as you want. It's a tax write-off. And I'm like, I'm going to push that to the limit. I want to see how many write-offs you can do next year for taxes.
It was a lot last year.
I know it was.
I can be very creative.
Alright, let's see. This looks pretty dry. Maybe a minute on the cape, but this can probably start. Alright. So try to. Oh, what are you gonna say?
I was going to say, you know what else is a tax write-off?
What?
We could go to Ireland. Well, we can't go to Ireland right now because pandemic, but eventually we could go to Ireland and it would be a tax write-off on my taxes. Because Fukumates was set in Ireland, so technically we could write it off.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ha ha. Research.
Just kind of wrapping this stencil around the leg here. I'm gonna wrap another one around the other leg. Fukumates.
I would love to go to Ireland.
I know. I have a couple friends over there. Probably gonna tour lay the land kind of thing. Alright, this is a tight area, so I'm gonna see what I can do here. A little black in the airbrush. Alright, so this is black mixed with red. And then it's going to go to pure black in a minute. But let's let that sink in there. You know what? While I have that color up, see if this is true. Yeah, this looks good. You know what, I'm going to need to trim this one down and blend it because this cape is really long. Alright, this is one of the great things about self-adhesive stencils is you can kind of push into the recesses a bit here. And really get it to wrap around the shape. I'm doing my best to try to blend the pattern here. See if I could get it kind of lined up pretty well.
You have any scissors over there?
Yes, I do. 1 second. Get this adhered. Here you go.
Cool.
Well, I still have that dark red in here. I need to blend that up to black. Hobbies. Right now this is looking more like a reptile skin pattern than Magma, but that's because I haven't really blended it yet. Which is what I'm working on now. Definitely gonna need some red in there. These stencils off to the side. Straighten them out in a little bit.
This is the best gift you've ever gotten me.
The magnifying thing?
Magnifying lamp, yeah.
Alright, now I need to use a little bit more red in here to kind of blend this together a bit. So let me clear out the airbrush. Use a little bit of actual bright red armor mixed with a dab of black. Kind of similar to the base color. What I'm kind of doing here is I'm starting the process of blending the colors. You don't want to go just from like black to red. You want it to be a bit of a fade. Bring in a little bit more pure red in some areas. I mean, I'm going to get in here by hand and add some hand highlights, but for right now I'm just trying to do the blending. We really only want the yellow to be at the very tip, so that's where I'm going to airbrush some contrast color in here in a minute, because I actually really like airbrushing contrast colors. I feel they do a nice blend. Any questions or comments from anyone?
Very quiet today.
Very quiet, yeah. So, right.
I feel like because we do it in the middle of the day, there's some days where sometimes people just get busy with work and other stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's bound to happen. Give that a little time to dry there. One of the other things that you have to think about is the base, because if you're trying to carry on the illusion that he's, hot and emanating heat, you're going to want to carry that onto the base. So, in that vein, I'm working on some gradients, basically where he would be stepping. Gradient's already getting a little overpowered, but I'll be able to dial that back. You know what, while I have the red out, I definitely want to have the glow around his head that he's so often depicted as having. So let me get in there. Yes, I painted his whole face red. I'm going to dial the skin tones back from the red. way I paint figures is I try to get about at least 50% of it done with an airbrush before I get in there with a hand brush. Partly because I like the style, and partly because of time saving, and partly because my hand tends to hurt because I have carpal tunnel. So I try to come up with, shortcuts for things and then finish it off by hand where it's necessary. And of course, where it aesthetically looks the best. So, in this situation, what I'm really trying to accomplish is get a nice gradation on the armor, get all the stencil effects and get the glows on the ground, and then all the little things like the skulls, the gold trim, the bullets, all that stuff I'm going to be doing by hand. While this stuff is drying, I need to get another gray for the armor. Darkness, that's a good one. Maybe I should go just pure neutral. Here we go. I want to get like a bit of a contrast on the armor, a highlight. And I want that to be neutral because everything else is red. So I'm going to mix up what is primarily black. But I'm going to put a couple of drops of IDF blue in it because this is a nice neutral slate blue. It's actually the blue that I end up using primarily when I'm painting TIE fighters, this IDF blue. But I can get a very dark, slightly bluish tinted gray, which when I paint on over the pure black areas of the armor, will add a slight cool contrast. Not a lot, mind you. I'm not going for like high contrast here. But I don't want the armor to be flat black either. Same with the cape. Just hitting the top of it, not the whole thing. And while we're at it, while I still have the same gray out here, I can start shadowing some areas on the base here. Add a little bit more just pure black into that. Not too much.
guys can ask questions too, just FYI. I am reading them out to Ron if you guys want to know anything about stencils or airbrushing in particular.
Or if you just want to talk about your day.
We're just sitting here painting. I'm painting too.
If you just want to say, how's the weather? Shit. That's how it is over here.
I'm actually looking forward to sweater weather.
Oh, sweater weather I'm fine with. It's the mugginess.
Mm-hmm.
I hate mugginess. Once it gets cool without the mug, that's awesome. We should have a fire in the backyard one of these days coming up.
I was thinking Friday after the kids go to bed.
But the guy's coming to clean up the yard on Saturday.
Oh, right.
So maybe Saturday if it's nice.
Yeah.
Once the yard's all neat and trimmed up. Alright.
So Ron and I had a date night last night. We didn't go anywhere or anything like that because pandemic and all, but we actually rented the new Bill and Ted's movie,
It was hilarious.
Face the Music, channeling our childhood and whatnot.
I thought it was hilarious.
It's very fun, very cute.
So, one of the great things about the stencils is that they kind of give you a nice area to work with for laying in some extra highlights and whatnot. I need a small brush. I feel like the painting mojo just isn't really working with me today.
Feeling I'm painting her boot over here, and I feel like there's like details I'm not sure what to do with.
Yeah. Just save those details for the end.
I think I want you to give me another airbrushing tutorial. I've only done like the pattern stuff with those chevrons, and
Sure.
I want to do certain things with her.
Sure thing.
I like painting a lot. I like it better than the building, honestly. But I feel like I can only do it for so long because then my hands start to hurt.
Yeah, same.
Oh, that looks really cool, babe.
Thank you.
Adwag, is that your friend Adam watching on YouTube again? I can't tell. Just rinsed his brush in his coffee.
What's his name?
Adwag, ADWAG.
No, that's not my friend Adam, but I'm sorry that you rinsed your brush in your coffee. That's never fun.
Oh, he said no, he's not Adam.
Different Adam.
Different.
You're thinking of my friend Adam Ramoko.
Oh, right. He has that other alias that he uses in chat. Yeah, brushes and coffee is never fun. I'm pretty sure I had some paint in my soy sauce earlier.
I didn't get any paint in your soy sauce.
You say that. I distinctly saw it splash into there. But that's okay. Oh, cool. Adwag on YouTube says he just ordered some stencils from us last week
Oh, thanks, man.
and is pretty excited.
Been shipping a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think the mailman's going to be here shortly to pick up today's batch.
Oh, did you set that out for him?
I did.
Yeah, I have to run more postage after live stream. Phi6 on Twitch says recipe for Magma. Just checking in with us now.
Well, it's basically reds and blacks. The trick is to paint like a yellow to red gradient and then apply the stencil, and then paint like a dark red to black gradient over the stencil, and then kind of do some blending in, or add some extra little like hot veins if you want to.
Yeah, it's mostly red and black, but then you can do the veins in like oranges and yellows and stuff that's like brighter for contrast.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to be spraying another layer of contrast in a minute to kind of blend in some of these veins that I've been painting here. I'm just following the pattern that's already there, just kind of accentuating it in some areas. But the stencil laid the whole pattern down. It's a contrast color.
It's supposed to be painted.
The contrast color really helps blend in that effect. What time do we have?
It's 2:09, but we started a little bit late, so
We started at like 2:15. I'm 1:15, I think.
yeah, 1:15ish, around that, roundabout.
So, in conclusion, basically, let me just clean this airbrush out for a second here. The general gist of it is you got to do light to dark gradient. And the reptile skin stencil, the infantry reptile skin stencil, has a bunch of nice little cracks and everything in there. And it really helps you achieve that effect. Let me show you another example on camera. Where's that guy I was working on? Where the hell did he go? One second, guys.
You did him on one of our other lives. I don't know where he went to.
No, I literally just had him out because I was working on him. Well, you know what? It's my own fault for cleaning up because now I don't know where anything is.
Don't even.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Ron and I are like the polar opposite in some regards. He is creative, messy. I'm creative, organized, borderline OCD. Like if we had like a larger space, I would be one of those people that has like a blown out like work area with everything like nicely and neatly arranged.
So here's other examples of the same stencil on this demon that I've been working on in bits and pieces. The effect is a little bit more palpable on larger scale figures. And doing the same type of stencil, but in blue colors, you can get this kind of effect where it looks like there's blue energy cracking out of stone. So it's a very versatile pattern, but the principle is always the same. You got to start with the lightest colors underneath and then cracking out to the darker colors almost black at the end. And that will get that same effect pretty much every time. Even on this light hauler here, which I did in a different video way back when, using the stencil, the larger size version of the stencil created this kind of like greenish skin membrane across the armor panel here, making, which was very nerval. So, like I said, it's a very versatile pattern, can be used for a lot of different applications, and if used right, it can be a really quick and effective way to achieve something cool looking.
Camel Pixel Punk on Twitch says, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
What's up, man? Well, anyway, so I was actually going to bring the video to a close because it's kind of where I'm at right now. I've applied the stencil, I've applied the contrast color. I got to let that dry down a little bit, and then I'm going to do some, manual highlights to accentuate the fabric up here and the shadows in the recesses. That's basically where we're at. So, anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching today, and we'll be here next Thursday. I'm probably going to do a lighting video next Thursday.
Okay.
I think that's kind of on the agenda. I have been doing a lot of lighting stuff lately that hasn't been wargaming related. Here's an example of one that is almost done. This is a 1/1000 scale Defiant from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, if any old heads here remember it. And this ship is just chock full of micro LEDs, the same ones that we sell in the micro LED kits. And I was able to just pack this ship out with micro LEDs and micro LEDs and the engines and stuff like that, and the nacelles. So, micro LEDs up here to kind of shine on the armor there, micro LEDs right there. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. So I think next week's gonna be more of a LED lighting thing, probably on a small spaceship model. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.